Hey guys, I'm Reese, and it's my goal to help as many people as possible be encouraged and educated to live happier and healthier lives. Today, I'm going to be talking about the book, The Courage to Be Happy. It's a great self-help book that I've read, and I'm going to talk about my 3 favorite points from it. If you don't know it, it's a great book. I'd highly recommend it. It's a bestseller, more than 1 million copies sold. It's a really great book. It's not just like some random book I found. So yeah, my goal is to help you with this video, teach you some things, educate you to find more happiness in your life with just simple, mindset changes to make you feel a bit better. I'm going to do this by talking about 3 topics. There's one called the separation of tasks, and then freedom is allowing yourself to be disliked, and then what the feeling of importance or contribution, it has many names, is, and how to use that to be happier. So I'll start off with the separation of tasks. So separation of tasks is essentially, you have your tasks in life, everyone else has their own. When you intervene with each other's tasks, there'll be problems. Generally, stress, anxiety, general things that make you less happy or make it harder to be happy. And this is to some degree quite simple, but I'll just get into it. So say for example, the easiest example I can use is you have a crush on someone, and your tasks are to go up and talk to them or flirt with them in the best way possible, and just do your best, prepare yourself the best, groom yourself the best, do your hair the best way, whatever, dress, put on the nicest clothes. And their task is saying yes or no. Your task is not whether they say yes or no. You worrying about whether they're going to say yes or no is not going to help with any of your goals. So separate the tasks of yours and others, and this will help you feel less stress. A more complex example, which might help you realize how people know don't worry about the result and blah 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 blah, just do your best. But sometimes people confuse when they don't know what is their task and what isn't. So the book is an example of educating your students, I believe. And say you're a teacher and you're educating your students. Your task isn't for them to learn. Your task is to be able to provide them with the best opportunity to learn. Your task is not to make them go home and study. Your task is to encourage them and to educate them on the benefits of studying, and then it's their task to actually do the study, to do the homework. And you worrying about whether or not, you being super fixated on whether or not they're going to study isn't going to help them. You doing your best to educate them and encourage them on why they should is going to help them and you the most. And if they don't do anything with that, because maybe it's not aligned with their goals, or maybe they don't trust you, well then you just do your best and you don't worry about the outcome, you worry about the input. And there's this saying that I've heard from quite a lot of people which summarizes this and it's you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. Do your best at leading the horse to water, or in these examples, do your best at asking out your crush or educating people. You can't force them to learn or to say yes or to drink the water. How I practice this. So basically, just when you're anxious, when I'm anxious, say I had a group debate where I had to present in front of my whole class at uni a couple of weeks ago. I'm stressing, I'm all in my head, blah, 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 blah. And then I remind myself, it's my task to do my best. It's their task to react. If I do my best and I fail and I do bad, then it's going to be my task to bounce back from that. It's not my task the outcome isn't my task, the input is my task. So focus on the input. If you don't get the outcome you want, focus on the next input. So the bounce back, or how you're going to make up for something. It's all about focusing on the input and not the output. And there's no point trying to control things that you can't control. That's just going to waste your time, and that's just going to impact your input. And then it's just like, yeah, it's just not. I'll go on to the feeling of importance next. There's for some context, there's some really big philosophers called like Sigmund Freud and like his like accomplice like Jung, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. They're like the two big philosophers that you'll probably find if you search up like most famous philosophers ever. And then there's also like Alfred Adler, which is like the third of the like trio, and he was kind of like separate to them. But anyways, they all talk about this feeling of importance. Alfred Adler, who is referenced most in the book, he talks more about a feeling of contribution than a feeling of importance. But I think the feeling of importance and contribution are like the exact same. Like, you feel important because you're contributing, or you feel that you're contributing because you're important. Like, it's all the same thing. And basically, happiness, you get a lot of happiness from this feeling of either contribution or importance. And this is why external validation, people love it, because they're getting that feeling of importance from someone else. You're getting that feeling of contribution when they're saying, good work, you did great. These are contributing to your feeling. The only problem with this, with external validation, is you can't really control that. You can't control whether other people are going to make you feel important or feel like you've contributed or not. So it's your job to control whether you feel like you're important or you've contributed. And everyone is important, and everyone can contribute. And you just need to contribute in your way that like you feel it and you feel important. So what I do is basically, more or less, I figured out what I think is important in life. Like, you can say, like, getting money is important, blah, 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 but then, like, to some degree it isn't, but you gotta think of, like, above that, to some degree. Like, sounds like I'm just being like, I'm better than you, blah, 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 but that's not what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to get at is, like, to me, more important than me having money is me helping people, is me helping them specifically which is why I made this YouTube channel, like having more, being able to control their happiness, being able to do stuff to make them happy, to have the courage to do that and the knowledge to do that. So that's what I feel is so important, and that's why, so to get this feeling of importance, I do stuff that I deem important. For you, it might be really important to take care of the environment. So when you do stuff that takes care of the environment, you're going to feel important, you're going to feel like you're contributing. And that's just like, if you align your goals with what you deem to be important, you'll feel like you're contributing by working towards those goals. Like, say you want to be a great parent to your children, and part of being a great parent is being a great role model, and part of being a great model is being in good shape. Then you're going to feel like it's going to feel more important to take care of your health, because that aligns with what you deem to be important. So you're going to enjoy it more. And it's also good just to learn how to give this feeling of importance to yourself, because you won't always get a feeling of importance from others. So you should try and be able to give yourself the feeling of importance. The final point I'll be talking about is the freedom is allowing yourself to be disliked. This is a big point in The Courage to Be Happy. There was a prequel to this called The Courage to Be Disliked. This is a common theme throughout both the books, where like happiness comes through not worrying about being disliked. To get into it, like it links to links to the feeling of importance, because like if other people dislike you, then but you're doing what you deem important, it doesn't matter if they dislike you, because you're giving yourself the validation, so you don't need the external validation. I didn't say that the best, but like if you don't need external validation from others, then you can not worry if they're not liking what you're doing, because you like what you're doing and you know it's important, and you can just not, like, you just need the courage to not be, I guess, swayed by people disliking you if what you're doing aligns with your values. How I practically implement this is, say I'm worried someone will dislike what I'm doing. Say I think someone's going to be like upset at something I do. I think to myself, like, is this aligned with my values of like helping people and helping myself find happiness? And if it is, I shouldn't worry about if they're going to feel upset, because it's what I believe in, and it doesn't matter that they don't believe in it, because I'm going to do what I believe in, and I'm going to have the courage to get disliked, or I'm going to have the courage to like take on being disliked by someone, because I know that's not what's important, if that makes sense. But yeah, basically it also links to separation of tasks, because like it's their task whether they like me or not, whether they like what I'm doing or not. It's not my task. I shouldn't worry about that. I should just worry about working towards my values and stuff. It might be a little confusing, but I hope it was helpful. So yeah, I hope like all three of these ideas, the separation of tasks, the freedom to be disliked, and also the feeling of importance, are useful to you, and also that I've described ways in which I practically implemented them. But I would definitely check out this book. Like I might not have described some of the things perfectly for you in here. This book probably does a better job than me, so definitely check it out. You can just search up like The Courage to Be Happy on Amazon. I'm sure you'll find it for like, I don't know, $20, $30, something like that. It probably ships to like anywhere in the world. I don't know, but like you can get this book. I would highly recommend getting this book. There's plenty more things in that book that I'll talk about in later videos. But yeah, if there's anything you disliked about the video, I'd like to know. I know I'm not like the clearest speaker. I'm trying to work on that. Hopefully that'll be better in future videos. And if you guys have any book recommendations, I'd love to know them, because this is a book, hold up again, this is a book I love. If I hadn't have read this, then I would to some degree want someone to recommend this to me, because after reading it, it's like I'm a changed person to some degree. But yeah, getting a bit off topic. I hope this video was useful and helpful, and have a lovely day.